They generally recommend fish and chicken and turkey and most of the stuff everybody's heard, but I'm just giving an overview. Those are going to be your better choices because, again, they're going to be naturally lower in fat. Avoid high sugar foods. So candies, and we just got over Halloween, so, you know, one day a week ain't going to kill nobody. And then we have Thanksgiving and Christmas. I will, this is what happened to me one Christmas. I will share, and y'all not allowed to share with anybody else. I was given so much food. I had a refrigerator full of food and a table full of food. And this is after giving food away. Well, I don't like throwing food away. So I started eating Christmas Eve. It was 3 days straight of eating sugar. 3 days. It literally took me to the last cookie before I was like, you know what? I think I've had enough sugar. I gained 8 pounds in 3 days. So, you know, I'll be honest, I threw down that food. I was like, it is not going to waste. I will eat it all. And I did. So, you know, but, I mean, once again, you eat bad. Look how easy it is to put on weight. I mean, 8 pounds in 3 days. I went running like the day after. I shook like a bowl full of jelly. It was like, I was like, I need to just stop this because this feels uncomfortable. So, just be careful with the high sugar foods. Our body doesn't need that much sugar, so, you know, just avoid it as best you can. Sometimes, like, again, Thanksgiving, if you have some, more power to you, but don't make it a daily habit. Alrighty, so that's with those two. Let's talk about sleep for a little bit. Sometimes the hardest thing to get. Sleep is so important. I mean, it is so important, it's not even funny. It is when your body basically heals up and gets back to normal. It's when your brain rests. It's when your body rests. It's when all the chemicals to heal and repair, that's when it goes in. So if someone's not sleeping, I mean, the body's not given a chance to kind of recover from what happened during the day. So, and especially as someone becomes more physically active, this becomes even more important. Because, for example, if someone exercises, well, that's more stress that's being put on the body. It needs a chance to enough time to rest. So, they recommend 6 to 8 hours a night is what they recommend. Sometimes it's hard to get. By the way, just a fun fact, do you know lack of sleep will kill you before lack of food and lack of water? So, you know, that's how important it is that to get the rest you need. Now, it varies person to person. This is the general recommendations. Some people, especially as they go older, they end up needing less. Some people need more. For example, teenagers, they recommend 9 to 10. So, I mean, that's hard for them to get. Make them go to sleep, you have to slap them or something. But they still need the sleep. So a couple things to help with that. And I've really studied this because I've had sleep trouble. Set a regular sleep pattern. So start trying to go to bed at a set time. So I'm going to go to bed at, say, 10 and get up at 6. You can possibly train your body to where it knows, okay, I'm now needing to get ready to go to sleep and fall asleep. That's helped a lot of people. Let's see, avoid alcohol right before bed because it might help you fall asleep, but it can also stimulate you within a couple hours and it'll wake you back up. So just be careful of that. So generally, if you want to have it 2 hours or so before you plan on going to bed to kind of help that out. All right, let's say a lot of times we can't sleep because our minds are running. I have this to do and I have that to do, and this is going on in this stressful situation. Well, one thing that helps out a lot of people is journal your thoughts out. So like right before you go to bed, just kind of write it out, bit by bit, every bit of it. And that can kind of help calm the mind down because you've kind of gotten it out of your system, and it can help you kind of fall asleep. Avoiding big meals. Some people, especially people who have like acid reflux issues, really need to be careful with eating right before bed because they're going to feel it and it's going to keep them up. So generally, if you have that issue or just a big meal on you will keep you up, give it about 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed is when you eat. Keep the room very dark. So room darkening shades, things like that. Close the doors as best you can if there's light coming in. Whatever you need to do to kind of really darken the room, because when the room gets dark, the brain starts releasing the chemicals that tells it to go to sleep. So if if it's still really bright, still really light out, it's not going to know to release those chemicals. Avoid TV, computer, or anything like that before bed because, again, that particular type of light, again, your brain gets a signal that says stay awake. So a lot of people who stay on the computer right before they go to bed or watch a lot of TV right before bed, that can interfere with them falling asleep. Other people it doesn't, so it depends on the person. If you do all these things, and one last thing is some people like meditation, right before they go to bed, again to help calm the mind, just kind of tune everything out, try to clear your mind. That can kind of help you calm down. If you still try all these things and you still have struggle sleeping, I would recommend talking to your doctor. There could be anything from sleep apnea to something else going on that's keeping you from having a good restful sleep. And that's the thing with sleep. And, I understand it's going to be a struggle some days, and some days it's not. Just as best you can, being a regular habit. All right, we're going to talk about one of the things that everyone has to deal with every day, and that's stress. Stress. Everyone has stress. You cannot get away from stress. It is impossible. But there are ways to deal with stress that that'll help you not let it overwhelm you. First, I want to talk about a little bit about what stress is. Stress is basically what happens to the body is your body, whether it's emotional stress, mental stress, or physical stress, your body only has one way to respond, and that's as if the fight or flight response. So basically it got designed, biologically thousands of years ago when we were running away from, saber-toothed tigers and things like that. So, it's true. But your body doesn't know the difference between physical and mental stress. So what it does is it reacts the same. So what happens is your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases, your body starts releasing glucose into your system. Basically what it does, it gets you ready to run for your life, is what it does. So, a lot of times you feel like you're really, oh my gosh, there's so much on me, you feel like your heart's pounding. Well, that's because the body's thinking, okay, I have to run for my life. But we don't have the same kind of stress that, we did thousands of years ago. I personally have never run away from a mountain lion. Don't plan to. So what's happening there is, it's like I describe it. Basically, the engine, your car is in park, but you're cranking it. You're putting it on the gas as heavy as you can, and it's not going anywhere. So your body is constantly being in that state. The heart rate's up, the blood pressure's up, over and over and over and over and over again, and never getting a release. So think about how that's going to wear and tear on things. Stress can, to be honest, stress can kill you. It's happened. So let's talk about then how to deal with that. Well, one of the ways we deal with that is exercise. Your body, again, it adapts to physical stress through exercise. It helps you deal with emotional stress because your body is better able to handle it. Another thing you can do, and we'll write some of these down. Exercise, okay? Time management. Time management. And as a student, this is very important. Time management. This will stress people out in a heartbeat because if someone's not really good at this, let's say if they're chronically running late on assignments, overbook themselves. For example, they tell 3 people, okay, yeah, I'll help you out, yeah, I'll help you out, yeah, I'll help you out, all at the same time. You can't be 3 places at one time. Or if you can, I don't know how you do it. So learning how to, okay, well, there might be traffic. Well, then I need to leave a little bit early. Or if I have an assignment, let's say I have 3 papers due or something like that. Well, plan it out. Say, hey, I'll work on this one for this hour on a Monday. Then Tuesday I'll work on this one. It reduces the chance of stress because, again, we're handling it. Be careful, write stuff down. Like if have a schedule, write it out. That way we have a chance to not get overbooked by telling too many people yes, simply because, we don't remember. That's definitely I think this, really stresses a lot of people out. I mean, I really think getting this under control really helps. Meditation, which I mentioned before, but in direct relation to stress, what it does is, if someone goes, and it can be anything really, it can be listening to music, as long as it's not hardcore metal or something. I don't think that'll reduce stress, but some calm music, something like that, sounds at the beach, the forest, whatever it may be, helps you tune out. Some people prefer, again, having the room dark, closing their eyes, just kind of tuning out, whatever it may be. What happens is it kind of relaxes you. It kind of brings you back down and gets the heart rate back down and that blood pressure back down and things like that. And so that can help. This is something we have rehab patients, cardiac rehab patients do a lot, because especially for people with heart issues, stress does a lot of damage for them. It does for everybody, but you definitely don't want that if someone has different heart diseases. We definitely teach them how to do this. And it's been shown to help a lot of people. Talk your feelings out with somebody. If you're having a stressful situation, instead of holding it in and letting it sit there, go talk to somebody. I mean, because if you just keep holding it in and keep letting it run in your mind, it's just going to keep going and going and going like a record that never ends. And so, for some people, it helps to go and talk. Be a friend, be a pastor, be a stranger, whatever works for you. Another way of doing it is writing it down. Just like your thoughts right before you go to bed. Write down what's going on. Like a journal, but with a book or the computer, whatever it may be. Just the act of releasing that seems to bring people to kind of calm down, bring them back down. This is a good one. Avoid stressful situations as best you can. Which means, again, with the time management, if it helps you to not overbook or do too many things at one time, in that, avoid some stressful people. There's some people who all will run across who are they love the drama, they love the stress, they seem to feed off of it. Avoid that as best you can. I mean, it's often hard to do, but if the person is going to be doing something stupid and it's going to cause a lot of drama, avoid it as best you can. Or if they're going to be the type to complain a lot or fuss a lot or get into arguments, as best you can, avoid it if you can, because you don't want them to drag you into a bad situation. And final thing with stress, and this is the hardest one. This is the hardest one. We are not in charge of our lives completely. There are things we cannot control. There are situations we cannot control. There's definitely people we can't control. We have to accept that. We have to accept that there's just things in our lives that we're not going to be able to be responsible for. Whether it be a relative who is, doing some sort of criminal activity or something, we can let that stress us out, but we can't control what that person does or does not do. So part of helping with stress is learning that, there's just stuff in life that I have no authority over and no control over, and I just have to accept that. It's often hard to do. It's hard to let that go. But this right here is a tool that will really reduce stressful situations. Okay? Any questions about the stress? Okay? I gave you 2 handouts, and I'm going to go over them right quick. All right, first is this. The American, and if you didn't get one, raise your hand. I can make sure you got one.